Hello everyone, this is Bobbin Threadbare, and welcome back to BioShock Infinite.
Pretty lady put hair sample in tube. Then, business is finished.
What's going on out there?
Bloodshed, violence, but not relevant to our arrangement.
Suchong, we had a deal, now open...
Do you know what they call someone who enters a man's home uninvited? A thief. And I do not remember inviting you into my city.
I had a deal with Suchong.
Suchong is my employee. It was not a deal he was authorized to make.
What do you want?
I granted Atlas and his thugs asylum. You serve those same men in a desire to escape from my generosity. If they shall not have asylum, then they shall have liquidation. Give a parasite an ounce of charity. He'll demand a pound.
I'm just looking for a girl that was taken from me. A little sister.
I don't claim to understand what you are, but I know that you are special. There is business we can do together. And so I give you a choice. Work for me or die with Atlas.
I'm not going anywhere without that girl.
If it's a little sister you want, that shouldn't stand in the way of commerce. I've got dozens of them.
I won't leave without her.
My men stand ready to take down the door. In 60 seconds, they will enter the room. They will either treat you as a valued employee of Ryan Industries, or as a thief in the night.
60 seconds.
There must be half a dozen of them or more. I've got to get ready.
Oh no.
Traps. I can use the plasmids as traps and seed the room with them. I gotta find somewhere to hide and surprise them. Take them down one by one. Booker. I'm scared.
They'll underestimate you, Elizabeth. People always do.
40 seconds. You know what I see on your face? Uncertainty. Who is this girl to you? 30 seconds. Do you know the value of the shark? Without them, the sea would be littered with the detritus of the weak. The men who come for you have much in common with those great animals. What sharks do for the ocean, these men do for rapture. 20 seconds. I will tell you something you already sense. Atlas does not honor agreements. Andrew Ryan does. I cannot save your Sally, but I can save you. Time. You're not a hero. You're not even a parasite. You're just a room. And Andrew Ryan has no time for rooms.
Do you know how much trouble you caused me? Come on, there she is.
You know, I could have seeded this room with traps and laid in wait in a corner, but it seems to me that just turning invisible and knocking them all out one by one,
Come on out.
that just seems more efficient. Now, interesting note there, of course, the guy with the gas mask is immune to the gas arrows. Or crossbow bolts, sorry.
Not in the mood for this hide and seek. Time's up. Just business.
Fortunately, they are not immune to someone else here.
You down like an animal.
Second wave. Well, as I was saying, fortunately they are not immune to tranq darts or to a good old-fashioned conk on the noggin.
Here's the make this easy on myself.
Like so.
I beat your sharks, Ryan. The better man won. Isn't that the only thing you respect? Now let me the hell out of here.
Sounds like all hell's breaking loose out there. What's your plan?
I can't just place the particle on the ceiling. It would just tear right through it. But every building in Rapture was submerged into the ocean on the Lunette ring, connected to the junction of its load-bearing supports.
That's fascinating and all, but if you haven't noticed, Ryan sent his goons to murder us. If you're gonna pull a rabbit out of a hat, now's the time to do it.
Looks like the structural junction is in Frank Fontaine's office. If I can get there, I can float the building.
It so happens I've taken that bastard's office for my own use. I'll make sure you've access to the private elevator. Now hurry.
I don't think I was supposed to be looking all the way down at that moment. Whoops.
I never dropped the ball.
Well, anyway, right now we've got factional combat going on out here.
You a solid arm. To make a comeback.
So, best thing to do
Where do you get off?
is to walk in the straightest line back to that one lounge
It takes.
and avoid all of these guys who are in the way. Right now they've got better things to do than hassle Elizabeth,
You're working my left.
and I've got better things to do than to make sure they all knock out.
There you are. Had any principles? Been expecting you.
I'm not sure if the reinforcements here are
Forget it.
unending.
What is that over there? Not all easy targets, you get me?
But yeah, it's just safer just to make your move as soon as you possibly can, as soon as you safely can. Then it's on up into the lounge.
There's supposed to be a brunette. Anyone seen her? Look around!
The rest of Atlas's crew are barricaded up that elevator shaft. Backup arrives. Go in and take them out.
Alright, I'm just gonna make my way across here.
What was that?
Hopefully without attracting too much attention. Oh, hello? I was not expecting that. That was inconvenient. He would teleport right next to me on top of the chandelier, where he would detect me instantly, because there isn't that much room to walk around.
They're down for the count. I know you've done it.
Of course, if I walk around down there on the water, that'll make a lot of noise. I mean, I could probably use Old Man Winter, but screw it. No one can hear me when I'm invisible anyway.
Got you!
Here is where I shall make my stand.
Not in the mood for this hide and seek.
Come on, you bastards.
Time's up! Show yourself!
No walk away now. There she is.
Yep, that guy had to be taken out
Gotta still be around.
because he had a helmet.
Come on out.
Man, there's a
There's
lot of guys around here, though.
Had any principles, you wouldn't be skulking around. I know you've done it.
Whoops. Well, luckily this guy who probably should have saw me didn't see me. So,
What you think was gonna happen?
yeah, this is going a lot easier than I thought it would be.
You can't keep running forever.
No, but I can keep hiding forever.
can't see you. Not at all.
Like it is remarkably easy to hide from these
Don't walk
guys.
away now. Fun's just beginning.
Oh, another helmet guy.
Hiding? That's how it's gonna be?
Yep.
Phoenix!
Well, luckily that doesn't qualify as a helmet.
Better you than me, pal. I'm not taking the next bullet.
Well, lucky for you, I'm not handing out bullets.
Had any principles, you wouldn't be skulking around.
Elizabeth, you know Atlas is going to...
I know. And I'm ready.
Are you sure?
I sent myself here for a reason. Didn't I?
And who exactly are you speaking to, Miss Comstock? If I were less acquainted with the vicissitudes of genius, I suspect I would question your sanity. I know so little of you, but I imagine the more I learned, the more exceptional I would find you. You know Atlas will betray you.
And what are you? My best friend?
You're one of a kind in this world, or others. And now, your misguided sense of altruism sends you to your doom. It's like watching Isaac Newton die in a house fire. A vain attempt to save his cat.
How would he even know any of this? I mean, seriously. Like, aside from the fact that we know that she's the protagonist, what evidence has she provided within this universe?
There. All the load-bearing columns come into this room and they meet there. Now just need to place the particle in that junction, activate it, and the whole structure should rise.
Mobile printing press?
There's no plan B. Might as well just get it over with.
You can see the city from here. Nice view. Not much left to say for the rest of the video, by the way. It's pretty much just cutscene from here on out.
Here goes nothing. It's working! Atlas, you feel that? You have your prison break. Now bring me the girl.
Did your mom ever teach you not to put your faith in strange foreign
Just
men?
give me the girl. She means nothing to you.
You've got that right. The girl means nothing. But you, love, you mean the world.
Oh, hi, Atlas.
No cause for alarm. She's well sedated. So, it's begun.
The Kashmir's all blown to hell. If Ryan didn't know we were back before, I'm sure now he's got the message.
What do you want with this one?
If anybody's got the line on the ace, it's her. Find out what she knows. But no quackery. She's no good to us with a halo and a set of wings.
I get started as soon as the chloroform wears off. Don't see her as too tough a nut. Where's the ace in the hole?
What? What?
Where's the ace in the hole?
I don't know what you're talking about. Look, we had a deal.
Where is the ace in the hole?
I told you.
Sodium thiopental. Are you familiar? No? Truth serum. Unpredictable stuff. Too little, nothing.
I have
Too
nothing
much.
to tell
The
you.
subject
I don't
is
even know what an
euthanized.
ace in the hole is. Ah!
I am still playing with the dosage.
This world values children, not childhood. There's a profit to be made, and men who make it.
Folks say it's only a matter of time until Atlas's entire mob comes out waving the white flag.
2 weeks.
What?
You've been down 2 weeks, love. Feckin' doctors. Better off hiring 1,000,000 monkeys.
Our deal was to get you out of prison. What, did you expect me to win your war for you too?
I'd tend to your own knitting if I were you. Now, darling, being that you were Su Chong's lab assistant and all, why not tell me where me ace in the hole went to?
I don't know.
As I said, I'm no doctor. But that doesn't mean I don't find the field fascinating. I keep up on all the medical journals and the like.
I hope you have someone to help you with all the big words.
You know what part of the brain free will comes from? Stubbornness? The prefrontal lobe. Now, I think it's fair to say you're a bit of a stubborn one, are you not? A man named Steinman taught me this. He's a bit of a lunatic, but a fine surgeon. He calls this little trick a transorbital lobotomy. Take hold of her, lads.
You're wasting your
Now,
time.
if you won't remain still, I can't be held responsible for what comes next. Here we go. You feel that? I'm moving the pick across your eyeball. Oh, still now. And resting it on your skull. There's about a bit over 1/4 of an inch of bone between the pick and your prefrontal lobe. And that's where this little fella comes in.
I don't...
It was just a wee tap. But I don't expect it'll take more than a few of those to reach the meat. And then we might find you a bit less the mule. Where's me ace in the hole?
I don't know.
You know what else rests in the lobe? Creativity. Individuality. Personality. In short, what makes you, you. I'm just about through now. Last chance, pet. Where is the ace in the hole?
Or what? What, you'll put a hole in my head and take away my memories? You want to make me forget all this? You want to make me not care anymore? Go ahead. You'll be doing me a favor.
Ah! Bring in the monster! You're a regular hero, ain't you? Can't risk ripping the only part of you that's worth a damn. Well, there's more than one way to fry an egg. Now, little one, are you familiar with the term transorbital lobotomy?
Please let her
It's
go.
a simple matter. All I need to is insert this pick into your eye.
Please, I don't know
Give
anything.
a few taps with me hammer.
I don't know
Better
anything.
to show by example.
Please, please don't. I don't know anything. I don't know. Please!
Shh, it's okay. It's okay. Listen, it's okay.
I can't tell him what I don't know. Where are we?
You saw all the doors, and what's behind all the doors.
The ace in the hole. It's here.
Yes.
But I don't remember this place.
You've never been here.
Then how would
The memories you lost, they weren't just of the past. You saw behind all the doors.
Even the ones into the future. This is where I'm going.
If you want.
I don't like it here.
It's a bad place.
He's never gonna let me go, is he? Even if I bring him the ace. Then why am I here? How if I was so smart? If I saw so much, why just send myself to the slaughter?
For Sally.
No, one day he will just rip her open and tear out her atom. All of this for nothing. Why did I do it? Why?
You have to decide.
Decide what?
To take a leap of faith. I can't tell you what you were thinking because you don't remember. But you chose to come. There. In that room.
The ace. I don't know what to do, Booker. Booker? Booker! No, please. Please just don't leave me here! Booker!
Booker's face looks weird. Sort of triangular.
Suchong's clinic! It's at Suchong's clinic.
That's a bit convenient now. Ryan's got every turret in the place tuned to me and me men's genetic code. We'd be torn to shreds before we got 10 feet.
That's right. Which is why I'm gonna do it for you. You okay with that?
Get me the ace, I'll wrap the brat in a silk ribbon. Bag her and bring her to my bathysphere.
Well, that's that for now. But anyway, no point standing on ceremony, so let's get right to it. Today, we'll be heading back to Science Corner so that we can finish laying out the evolutionary origin of morality. Our emotional development. Last week, I stated that emotions exist so that we can communicate them to each other. Now, that is an important aspect of emotions, at least in highly developed animals, but their primary purpose is actually to act as advanced decision-making algorithms. Emotions are not absolutely necessary for survival, and that's plain to see when you notice just how many species get by without them, or at least without anything beyond the extremely basic pleasure-pain paradigm. After all, even a simple bacterium can grow a flagellum that will direct it towards food and away from danger, which is a sign of stimulus and response. But while this basic, genetically designed system was enough for single cells and even small multicellular organisms, as our capacity to sense our surroundings and interact with our environment grew, so did the need to develop a sophisticated nerve center able to interpret these senses and record their observations in a memory system so that causes and effects could be remembered and either avoided or repeated as appropriate. This is the extent of what's called the lizard brain, an extremely small central nervous system which is primarily ruled by instincts, ironclad patterns set by genetics which are extremely hard to ignore even by those animals whose brains include more sophisticated designs. It's also home to emotions so primal that it's hard to even recognize them as such. Sleepiness, hunger, thirst, the need to empty our waste systems, the need to propagate our species from time to time, pleasure, pain, and fear. These emotions represent needs so essential that they can shut down our higher brain functions until they've been dealt with. And that is exactly what I mean when I say that they are advanced decision-making algorithms. A brain will weigh the relative strength of each emotion in order to decide which subroutines to activate. If fear says danger is near, it's time to flip on the fight or flight routine. If the area is safe, but the digestive system is empty, it's time to start hunting for food. If the area is safe and the digestive system is sufficiently full, then either it's time to attract a mate for reproduction, or it's time to drop into a low energy mode so that food calories won't be wasted on needless activity. But while such essential functions are enough for a wide variety of animals, birds and mammals have added to these functions with brains that can understand a wider range of emotions and are cleverer as a result. And the reason why they've become more advanced is fairly straightforward. Like I've said, survival isn't a matter of fitting your role to the best of your ability, it's a matter of adapting to a new role when things inevitably change. Not only are intelligence and trained responses more adaptable than instinct and baked-in responses, intelligence also gives animals the power to change their habits both while hunting and while escaping on the fly. In other words, an intelligent animal can become unpredictable enough to render its prey and its predators unfit to stand against it. Much like its more instinctual cousins, advanced emotions are all designed to solve the problem of choice. Anything can choose between positives and negatives, but how can you choose between two positives? Instinct can only really make that decision on quantitative grounds. The food that's the closest, the mating call that's the loudest, the danger that's the nearest. But advanced emotions give us the ability to assign values to a given input, marking some things as more important than others, regardless of any distances or absolute measurements involved. Common wisdom states that emotions and rational decisions are opposites, but we really can't make any decisions without emotional input. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite book? Your favorite painting? Your favorite movie? Your favorite song? Which season is best? Which flower is the most beautiful? What's your type? You cannot make these value decisions without emotional input. And even the most logical of problems, like 2 + 2 = 4, can only be solved because we have a desire, an emotional desire to solve them. After all, every decision you make occurs within your brain, and every thought that crosses your mind is the product of neurological electrochemical reactions. There is no separation between you and the urges that guide you. Emotions and advanced communication. So, how do emotions fit into communication and cooperation? Well, the root of it is fairly simple. What's better than learning the hard way how to find food and evade predators? Answer: watching someone else find food and evade predators, and then learning by example. But for one animal to care enough to observe another for months or even years, and for that other animal to protect the first one while it's still growing and learning, now that requires some doing. Like Elizabeth said in that last video, there are certain chemicals related to imprinting, the protective and trusting relationship that binds parents to children and children to parents. But to say that these chemicals cause this relationship to form is misleading. It's more accurate to say that our brains use this chemical as a trigger for an already existent subroutine that allows us to trust another living creature. And the difference between an ant's duty to her colony and a bird or a mammal's duty to her children is this: birds and mammals can imprint on anything that cares for them. An ant without its colony or a close genetic relative of its colony is lost, but an abandoned penguin baby can be cared for by any pair of penguins. A wolf or an auroch can be cared for by humans, to the point where they gain an instinctual trust of humans. With these chemicals comes what's essentially an expanded sense of self, Parents who are caring for their offspring, or for any other offspring to which they have bonded, will care for the child as if they are caring for themselves, and they will even put a higher priority on the child's health than on their own. This isn't a matter of right versus wrong. It's simply the result of an evolutionarily determined emotional priority list built right into the structure of the brain and enforced by the timely release of chemicals based on sensory input. With social animals and birds, the ones who spend a lot of time together and who have the opportunity to pass along a lot of information, this chemical connection can become a lot more complicated. It's not just about parents and children anymore. It's about families, clans, entire groups who have to protect both the weak and the strong because numbers themselves are a powerful defense. A lone cheetah could probably take down a lone zebra in a one-on-one fight, but a cheetah caught out in the open by the entire zebra herd will soon wind up a bloody, trampled mess. As such, I'd say it's these collective units, these herds, packs, and families that first gave birth to two key social emotions: compassion and shame. Compassion, in this sense, is the desire to comfort or assist another creature in a way which is similar to, but not exactly like, the desire of a parent to protect his or her offspring. Such actions aren't taken to promote their own social standing, because there are other mechanisms within the social structure for doing so. But helping each other does benefit the herd or pack as a whole because of that number count, and so their brains contain this subroutine to encourage cooperative behavior. Shame, meanwhile, is a way to diffuse competitive behavior. There is a fierce competition for mates within a variety of species at every developmental level, and this competition serves these species by ensuring that only the most successful and well-adapted individuals get to provide their genes to the next generation. However, while males of independent species can afford to fight to the death, or at least until one of them is crippled and retreats, a species which relies on its numbers and which can't replenish them year by year has to learn how to hold back, how to make sure that both fighters have the strength to keep going after the fight ends. Shame helps these animals remain conscious of their defeats and maintain their place within the group's hierarchy even after the pain of their physical injuries fades. It allows them to remember what they did wrong, and it renders them more cunning as they wait for the right moment to pick their next battle. As the most social of all animal species, humans probably have quantitatively stronger social emotions, just like we have more psychosomatic social cues like crying, laughing, smiling, frowning, and a variety of more subtle facial expressions. But I wouldn't say we have any new emotions that can't be found elsewhere in the animal kingdom. We aren't the only mammal that's in heat throughout our lives, instead of during certain seasons. We aren't the only species to form long-lasting mating partnerships. And we aren't the only species to care for our families even after each individual has grown up. But we do have one thing that other animals don't. We have stories. Animals can and will defend themselves, their groups, and the resources they rely upon, and humans will do that too. But you'll never see an animal defend an idea, or a nation, or a person he or she has never met. But humans can, and humans will. And why? It isn't for the sake of the thing itself. Just like how a mother bear doesn't really defend her cub. What we defend is the version of the idea or person which is in our heads. We create a memory of a thing. We evaluate that memory based on sensory input and emotional algorithms, and we eventually decide whether that thing is worth defending or whether we should do something else. Because humans can create stories, we can defend a nation just as a mother would defend her son. Because as far as brain chemistry is concerned, both nation and child, are equally real. We are, all of us, stuck within our heads, and what we do has less to do with reality and more to do with the reality construct which exists in every brain as a collection of sensory data, emotional judgments, and in the case of humans, stories. It is significantly helpful for these reality constructs to approach the actual reality as closely as possible, because when the construct resembles reality, you're more likely to make correct evaluations and take the most correct action possible. However, there is absolutely nothing within our brains that requires this resemblance, and so it's a good idea to always keep that fact in mind. Personal thoughts. So what? So what? What does it mean to have uncovered the fact that our decisions are based on emotions, and our emotions are electrochemical algorithms that reside within our brain? What does it mean for our consciousness, such as it is, to be a result of a constant stream of processed sensory data firing synapses and hormonal secretions? What does it mean to realize that any urge we have to suppress our emotions is, in itself, an emotional urge? It means that we better understand the why behind the rules that guide our existences, but while that may be helpful in manipulating the known rules and predicting new rules, what this knowledge doesn't do is change the rules or the nature of the game. It doesn't mean that you should change your behavior just because it turns out that every action is secretly selfish because we're always acting to defend a version of ourselves which identifies with other people rather than those other people themselves. It doesn't mean that we should stop praising generosity just because people are generous in order to avoid the chemical discomfort of shame or feel the chemical high of compassion. Our social mores and values were not built at random, nor out of some misconception about how the mind works. They were built in order to encourage people to act in a way that best serves that community which holds those mores. Religions and philosophies will pop up to explain, defend, and debate these mores, but such explanations don't matter. The rules matter. A new idea can change the world, but this change will only happen if it can change the rules, not just the explanations, and it will only work out as intended if it can successfully identify and predict the rules that govern human minds, and not just the approximations that exist within the author's head. So feel free to enjoy what you find beautiful, avoid what you find disgusting, praise those you find worthy, and criticize those you find wanting. Because while it may be true that your mind is nothing more than a pile of proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, and electrochemical stimuli, and while it may be true that your mind is a series of neurons ruled by emotional algorithms which prioritize your actions based on stimuli and stored memories, that was also true yesterday, and the day before that, and on towards the origin of life over 4 billion years ago. And if knowing why your mind works doesn't change how it works, then why change your actions or your beliefs? Thanks for joining me again in Science Corner, and I hope I'll see you next time for the finale.